Y'all let's stand. We're going to start with the pledge and a prayer. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Pray with me. Lord, we come to you now thankful for the many blessings that you've given us. We're thankful for this community that we live in and this school that we serve. Please be with each and every board member here tonight. Give us wisdom that everything we do might be in the best interest of the school, the faculty, and the students. It's in Jesus' name, amen. So we'll call this meeting to order. We do have a quorum present. The agenda was posted in a timely fashion. The next item is recognition of students of the month. If the board would come around to the front.
So we have our pre-K through second grade students who are soaring cardinals for the third 6 weeks here with us tonight. So I'm going to start off with our second graders so they can show the others how to do it. So starting in second grade with Miss Kim Epperson's class, we have Carly Foster. Epperson says Carly is a hard worker and sets high expectations for herself in the classroom. She is a great listener and always participates in class. If a student needs help with classwork, Carly is your girl. I can always count on her. She is truly a flamazing second grader. Then in second grade, Miss Whitney Norris's class, we have Caden Sorsby. Says that Caden is one of the kindest students I've had the pleasure of teaching. He is always willing to help his classmates and teachers. He is a friend to everyone and such a joy to be around. I'm so proud of him. In first grade, in Miss Jones's class, we have Harper Moles. Harper is a kind friend to all her classmates, a wonderful trait to have. She is always willing to help her neighbors, whether it is a small or big task. She works to do her best, and I'm so proud that Harper is a Maud Cardinal. Then we have in first grade from Miss Carol's class, Ella Jones. She says Ella is a sweetheart. She's very friendly and usually has a big smile on her face. She works hard, tries her best, and helps her neighbors when she can. She sets a great example for her classmates. Neither of our kindergarten students are here, so I'm going to move on to pre-K. In Miss Higgs' class, we have Logan Canada. She says Logan is a great example of a soaring cardinal. He works hard, has a great attitude, and always eager to help others. I'm so proud to have him in my class. And our other pre-K student is not here either. So those are our soaring cardinals for the third 6 weeks, pre-K through second grade. Our staff member of the month, and we would like to recognize Miss Michelle Seals. So she's our dyslexia therapist and teacher, and I'm not sure she knew what she signed up for because some things have come down from the state that she has extra duties that she's had to take on, but she's done a wonderful job, and we're very grateful to have her and her positive attitude. So thank you.
All right, so we've been doing student groups for our months. Last month we had some sickness flying around, so I'm going to have Mr. Fannin and the band group come up and be represented for the month of December real quick.
Evening, y'all. I have my senior drum major, Kayla Gray, and a freshman, Chloe Ragland, here to just talk about what we've done and what we continue to do this year. So, Kayla, go ahead and start.
Hi guys, as you heard, my name is Kayla. I am the drum major of the mod band. The high school band started the year with 48 students, we only had a small amount. When I was a sophomore 2 years ago, we had about 16 at our first few rehearsals. We had 5 audition for All Region, which is a contest against all other 1A schools through 4A schools in the area. There were over 700 students registered for 120 spots. We got close, but we did not have any make the band. The band students are currently getting ready for solo and ensemble in late February, with several challenging solos and ensembles that could qualify for state. Hunter McCamey and myself were selected to participate in the 4 States Honor Band, which is filled with the students from Arkansas, Louisiana, Texas, and Oklahoma. There are 4 out of 6 seniors expected to continue music in college by joining the SAU marching band in the fall.
Hey everyone, I'm Chloe, as you know, and I'm a freshman and I play the clarinet. So thank you for your support of our program. We could not be successful without y'all. 10 junior high students auditioned for the junior high region band in November. Last year, only 4 auditioned. Madison Beckett received 2nd chair bass clarinet and performed with the band this past weekend at Pleasant Grove High School. There were over 800 students auditioning for the junior high band from every 1A, 2A, 3A, and 4A school in the area. Junior high solo and ensemble is coming up after our official winter break. This will be the 3rd year we have this. Students prepare a solo and perform in front of a judge. The judge gives them a rating of 1 through 5, with 1 being the highest. After solo and ensemble, we will have concert and sight reading at Mount Pleasant High School. Last year we received a 1 in sight reading. This year we are working on getting a sweepstakes, which is our 1st division in sessions.
So, I wanted to make sure that we got them up here because they have done a lot and they have grown so much. So, wanted to make sure I got them up here. It's very unique to have a band director who's willing to go down to pre-K, to kindergarten, all the way up to 12th grade to try to develop and build a program. You heard the girls talk about we were 16 at one point in time and we're all the way up in close to near 50s now. And it's just growing exponentially. It's crazy, the kids that get fired up about it. So wanted to make sure that we definitely got them up here. My next group will be my January group. Miss Neal? Yes, that's fine.
With the weather and everything going on, wasn't able to kind of bring my students with me tonight. But I did want to tell you all, thank you very much for being so supportive of the culinary arts program that we have here at MAUD. A lot of schools do not have that anymore. And so when I am out and about and people hear that we still have that, they are very, very, very impressed with that. January is School Board Appreciation Month, and so one of the things that we get to do in January is to fix you a meal. My 9th graders were instrumental in making your meal tonight, and that it's their first year to actually be in the cooking classes. So I kind of wanted them to be a part of that and to be able to see that, and they're also involved in other things that we get to do. But I did just want to let you know thank you very much, and that I really appreciate your support in that. It's one of the things that I love to do. I think it's very important that we're able to build on the fundamentals that they're already receiving at home, so that way we can not only help them intellectually, we can help them, to be able to take care of themselves when they leave our presence and go to soar and make their own path in the world. So, but I do want to tell you thank you very much.
Thank you, it was very good.
Thank you.
Never mind.
So one of the things that she didn't talk about is the fact that she did the Seniors for Lunch this morning. and a lot of her kids were involved in there. And then one of the other things that she doesn't talk about a whole lot is she taught kids how to use an ironing board and some foil to make meals for when they go to a college dorm room. It's little things like that of just everyday life, how can you survive kind of deal, that she does an unbelievable job with. So it's been a really incredible thing to get to go to her class and watch what she does with them. Okay, so I'm going to move on so I don't keep us here all night. One of my next things is staff member of the month, and I had known, and I'm going to be honest with you, thank God she hasn't killed me yet, but I have known for a while that this person was our staff member of the month, but I've kind of been busy and preoccupied with a lot of different things outside of school and at school with, checking the roads and just doing little things like that. Grades, changing schedules, all that, so I kind of got overwhelmed and kind of got lost. And I had seen her today, and I told myself I was going to talk to her, but I didn't tell her until about 4 o'clock that she was our staff member of the month. But she's good with that because she deals with sickness, who kids just come to her office and just basically let it come out of them right there. And she handles surprises really well that I don't do very well with. But my staff member of the month is Miss Nixie James.
Almost not you, Jason.
Thank you.
Now, what she hasn't told you as well, also, or I haven't, is she's also, for the last, 4 or 5 years, tried to find a way to make our campus healthier.
Oh.
And she does the Biggest Loser for us and calculates everything, sets it all up. Not only that, she's been making us do flu shots, lipo, B12, to try to keep us here longer. So we wanted to thank her for that. All right, so I guess that'll conclude the students, staff members of the month. If you want to, we'll take a short break and take a picture out here in front of the crest, and then we'll resume after that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
If y'all.
News I stole with somebody's cake up.
All right. Next item on the agenda is board recognition.
Okay, Board, we do want to say it's Board Appreciation Month. And we appreciate you, not just in January, but each and every day of the year, because I know it's an incredible amount of time, effort, personal, where you could be doing something else, and we appreciate all that you do. So the elementary
And high school went in together to get you your shirts, and then the cards are from our leadership kiddos. So we brought you the cards and the shirts. So.
Very nice. Thank you.
Thank you.
outstanding. Now, I wanted to also say the signs behind each of your positions around the table were made by Mr. Wyndham's Ag Shop and put together a nice little sign for your front yard. And so hopefully that'll be a piece as well. So I just want to say thank you for all that you do.
Didn't see that.
Sorry.
Saw how observant I was. I didn't spot that.
Police work as your.
So we really appreciate all that you do.
Yeah, thank y'all.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Conduct public hearing on the district's taper report.
Okay, Ms. Sanders is going to report on how Maud did on a taper. And then she's got a basketball game to get back to. So
What's her favorite month of the year right here? Thank you.
All right, so the top copy is just kind of a little PowerPoint I put together, and then the bottom copy is the actual full taper report. So if you want to sit and read all of that, you can do that. I'm just going to kind of highlight some of it. The first part is just a breakdown of our test scores for each grade. This year they have not come out with accountability yet, so last year we were an A campus. This year, according to Region 8, did use the formula that they had given to calculate it all, and they've told us that we should be an A campus. I just don't know. We don't know if it's going to, if they're even going to do ratings this year. There's kind of some turmoil in the state. This was a new test. It was all online. It was this was the STAR 2.0, so it was a lot harder. So some schools are saying, well, usually you give us a year grace period before you start the accountability. So they've kind of pushed that back, and I don't know if we'll get an accountability rating or not. But if you can look on the area, it breaks it down by each grade level. It tells you what our percentage is, the region's percentage, and the state's percentage. And for the most part, Maud is ahead of the region and the state in most of the areas. So you can look for third grade reading, we were at 90, math we were at 77. Fourth grade reading, we were at 91, math we were at 70. Fifth grade reading, we were at 89, math we were at 78, and science we were at 75. Sixth grade, we were at 96% and 86% in math. Seventh grade, we were at 100% and 94%. So we really did well in that group compared to the region and the state. For eighth grade, again, our reading was at 90, science was at 79, social studies we were at 48, and math we were at 88. So social studies has definitely been our area of concern. We have done some things a little different this year to try to raise those scores. We've bought some programs that we're using, but it is overall just it is the hardest. You can see on the state and the region, it's the lowest score that they have. For the end of course, you can see our English 1, we were at 63. English 2, we were at 82. Algebra 1, we were at 97. And biology, we were at 100. Then the next was U.S. history. Again, we were at 100. So overall, I think we did some really good scores. Some areas that we are working on to improve, but every year we have some area that we're trying to improve on. You look then at our attendance, we were at 95.2, which is pretty much similar to the year before. We were at 100% graduation rate. The college and career military readiness, we were at 100%. This is something that they've really been pushing the last couple of years, where students can get a point to meet this and either be in dual credit classes, certifications, and they're really pushing for you to have some type of a certification by the time you graduate. And so every one of our kids got either a certification or were in 9 hours of dual credit. So that is something, we do have some kids that get a welding certification, and then we also have floral design, which we have a lot of kids that we pass that pass the floral design test. So that really helps your accountability, because the CCMR part is, I think, 30% of what your accountability is. So for schools that have not done well in this, that has really hurt their, a lot of times that's why they drop from an A to a B or a B to a C, is because of their CCMR. So that really does help us that we are able to get kids with certifications. The next one is our professional staff. This just tells you how many of teachers, professionals, support, campus admin, central admin, a breakdown of how many we have in each one of those areas. And then you can look at our teachers by experience. So now we have 12 teachers that have been here 11 to 20 years. So that's a pretty good, and that we have an 11.4 student to teacher ratio, which is really, really pretty good. And then we also have to report every year if we have any violent or criminal incidents on our campus, which we did not. So thank goodness. Does anybody have any questions?
I have one.
Okay.
So do you feel like the scholarship program we started doing on the dual credit has had an impact?
Huge. Yeah, and we were at, Kayla and I went to a meeting at the college in the fall sometime, and we were sitting there with some other schools, and so they put in a program now with TC that if you qualify for free and reduced lunch, that the state pays for your college. And so the schools were saying, I really think that's gonna help a lot of our students because, you know, a lot of kids couldn't afford it. And we were sitting there and we said, well, that's gonna help us as a district because we normally pay for everybody. So now our students that qualify for that, you know, the state's gonna pick up. And the 3 schools that were sitting with us was like, oh my goodness, can we call y'all school? Because we need to be doing that. Like, that would help us so much because there is a lot of kids that, you know, wouldn't be able to do it. So it has helped us with this new program that they're doing because about over half of our kids do qualify for free or reduced lunch. So that's, you know, helping us on what we have to pay. But yet, that is a huge help. And
Thank you. Something I'm excited about. I was hoping it was happening.
yeah, it has been a huge help.
I got a question. Those 2 areas that we're down in, haven't they been problems over the last several
They
years?
have. Yeah, and the social studies, that's, yeah, it is. And you know, which ours is lower than what the state is, you know, you would hope to be at least where the state is. And that's what our goal is to be, you know, above the state. So we're hoping that we put in some new things this year that the kids are doing STAR prep throughout the class. They also have a science class that they go to for extra. They take 2 science classes, and Miss Lamb is in her science class also working on social studies. Some in that, just because it's so much facts and so many, you know, that you can't, it's not really of just reading it and trying to figure it. It's just so many
Yeah.
facts that you've got to know about it that
I think we did make an improvement in I can't remember which one it was when I was going through the report the other day. We did make some improvement, but we're still lacking.
And you know, algebra was
Algebra 1's where we made a huge improvement.
Yeah, that was-
Yeah.
And then our social studies, we took our benchmarks the other day. I was gonna bring it in here just to support. I should have, I'm sorry. Me and Mandy had talked about it, you know, doing it that way. And Mandy's put most of it together, honestly, but we tested differently on our benchmark for social studies this year. Last year benchmark, I think we were in the 60, 40, 50-something% range. This year, we're already up at 90%, and we still haven't taught all the material. So we actually feel like our 8th grade benchmark's gonna do a lot better. You know, it will be a significant jump, I feel, from last year's score. So I'm really excited about where we're
And
at.
two, when you look at the group of students taking the test, you know, like our 8th grade group this year, they have done pretty well in testing throughout. So I would look for them to do better just from the fact that they're a pretty smart group.
It's a good testing group.
You
You
think
know,
the way that it was given this past year had some effect on it?
I think it did some.
I do.
Yeah.
I think all the changes that we went through made it a little difficult. If you noticed, all of our scores were a little bit down compared to where we thought we were going to go and grow. We did have a couple points here or there in a meets or a master's category that pushed us up, but as a whole, we really kind of stayed pretty close to where we were. The social studies did drop down. Of course, I think a lot of that's part due to the reading of it differently.
And they've added on every one of the tests now, they've got a writing part to where,
Yeah.
you know, it's not just A, B, C, or D anymore. You've got to actually write, you know, essays, and that's typically what kids struggle with, or they just don't want to do it, so they just don't, you know, they just skip that one because it involves more work. But I think that's why the state lowered their percentage of, you know, what they were requiring this year, because it was a harder test. It was the first year everybody took it, and it was a harder test. But social studies is definitely our area that we have zeroed in on this year. 11.4, that's just our teacher to student ratio, about how many students are in each classroom.
What's optimal? Like 12 or 13?
Well, some schools, there's, you know, 20.
Yeah,
You know?
in some schools, it's
Well,
22
for
to
our
1,
side,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, usually we're at around 13, 14. This is a little bit lower for us,
So
which,
that's-
you know, the lower you can get it, the better it is. But yeah, that's very low considering some schools, like, you know, the bigger schools, they have 20 or 22 in theirs, yeah. Anybody else have any questions?
Thank you very much.
All right.
Our next is public comments. We have anybody signed up? Move along. Communications. On a roll. Consent agenda. Minutes of the December 21st, 23 regular meeting of the board, the monthly financial report, accept $9,000 donation from Farmers Bank and Trust for the school board. Anybody, any board member have any item they want to discuss or pull from the consent agenda? Do you have a motion to accept the consent agenda as presented? Motion by Gap, do I have a second?
I'll say.
Second by Terry, all in favor, raise your right hand. It's unanimous. Next item is information items, principals, report, and athletic directors.
So you have your report for the January board meeting in front of you. You can look at our enrollment as of today, and then you can look at last year's board report enrollment, which was like a day behind us. We are down from last year, but I will say that last year, after Christmas, we had an unprecedented number of students who came in. Like, I can think of at least 10 to 15 last year that we had enroll after Christmas. This year, we've only had one enroll after Christmas. But we're still, so we're at 218 as of right now. But, so if you're curious about why that number is different, Ms. Buffy was saying that was unprecedented for that to happen. The attendance percentage, you can see from last year versus this year, we're up a little bit, so that's great. We still have some sickness going around, but I would like to see that maybe a little bit better than that, but that's where we're at. We have 4 students at the SSA in Redwater. And then you can see the people and students and the staff members that were recognized tonight. Spotlights, we want to appreciate and thank you for everything that you've done for our school, and so we want to say thank you. And then we had our bowling, right before Christmas, we had our bowling AR trip, and they went to Holiday Bowl. Those that met their accuracy and AR point goals went to Holiday Bowl for the first semester. And then we have early literacy and dyslexia testing. So all of our first grade students have been tested for the middle of the year. We did that before Christmas. Also during that early literacy test, they have a dyslexia screener that they're given. And so we've already narrowed down those first grade students who we feel like need to be dyslexia tested, and that is starting. It is now part of the SPED process, so that's a lot longer process than what it was last year. We are currently working on our second grade and kindergarten middle of the year class, middle of the year M-class testing. So we waited until after Christmas to do them because we wanted to make sure we got our dyslexia screeners and all of that in. And so second grade is working on theirs currently, and kindergarten will start Monday and Tuesday of next week. And we will make sure that all of those are done by January the 26th. And then we've also had a couple of positive office referrals. We put those on Facebook. This is students that teachers want to recognize for various reasons, whether it's academic or behavioral or any little reason that they want to recognize somebody special. We've had a couple of students put on Facebook for that. Several have been, like we had a kindergartner that you see in the picture. She was recognized because she has learned all of her kindergarten sight words. So, and we're in pre-K. So she's already checking out books in the library, being able to do AR tests and everything. So she's gone extraordinarily above and beyond. The upcoming events, we have Kindness Week starting next week. We have something each day. The leadership class or program has planned out something for each day. We have dress-up days. The 100th day of school was pushed back to the 31st because of the snow days. We also have Kona Ice that day. We will have UIL award ceremony on the 2nd, and then Valentine's parties on the 14th in the afternoon, and then winter break will be coming up very, very soon.
Can I get Aaron in that kindness week?
He needs some kindness. We need to get Miss Hudgens to bring you some things.
I'll send out the elementary. What about you?
I think I had some office referrals when I was in school, but not positive.
All right, so attendance for us has actually shot up this month. Of course, it's early. We had some snow days that didn't affect our student population as much. Matter of fact, I think they actually came to school today because they were excited to be back. It sounds kind of wild, but So we had some of that going on, but enrollment-wise, we're about the same. Mr. Barron took his group down to the Fort Worth show. There was a couple pictures there of the kids. They were in front of the judges. They were getting grilled pretty hard about their tables and their trough. Apparently, from what I understand, Jackson Braley there on that next page did an outstanding job speaking. And that, to me, is the reason why we do what we do with our ag department. Because that kid, if you ever get to see him and meet him, he is as funny as there is. And he shines in that light. And it's one of his areas that I'm very proud of him for what he does there. Also, you heard Mr. Fannin and his girls talk about how they went to the 4-state deal. We had McCamey and Kayla get selected to be in the 4-state band again. And then the other side of that was Madison Beckett was second chair. I think that's the first time we've actually received an official spot up that high in our band. So we're really fired up about that. Of course, you know, everybody says, well, it's a bass clarinet. How many people play them? Well, there was 8 in our little area, and then when they went to the competition, there was like another 16. So she's doing really well compared to all the other schools around us. So we're really fired up about that. A few things that we have coming up. Oh, well, let me take that back. One more thing. We had the blood drive on the 10th. Which was huge for us because the last time we had a blood drive, we had, for whatever reason, some people get sick, different things. This time they changed up a little bit of the scenery, who was running it. Ms. Harrell got it all set up for us that way. Did a lot of talking with some of the supervisors for the blood drive. They brought in, like I said, a new group of people, and just, it was unbelievably well ran. Nobody got sick, nobody got faint, no passing out, nothing crazy like that. They checked on us periodically as we were doing it, different stuff like that. So it was a really good time on our blood drive. We got 2 more that we need to get done so that we can get scholarships for our seniors. So we're going to keep advertising that and keep working on trying to find ways to make it even better. Things coming up, we got Groundhog Day, of course. Counselor's Day is coming up on February the 5th, which there is no doubt she will love to be treated that day, so we'll take care of her. And then, of course, 2 more dates that are going to be important for us. Valentine's, February the 14th. Everybody better make sure you take care of your wife or significant other. And then, of course, winter break on the 19th through the 23rd is going to be coming up, which I think if you talk to several people, that'll be one of those deals where we have a lot going on as far as starting other sports, finishing off sports, playoff, all that kind of implications that'll be taking place during that time period. So, any questions? All right. Thank you.
Board, you have the athletic report in front of you. Coach Turner dropped these off since we have the Bowie game tonight. You see our girls are 1-2 in district play. Our boys are 1-0 in district play. We may be 1-3 in district play for our girls now. That's what I heard. Mr. Wyndham, how did our girls do tonight?
We got beat. We were playing really well till probably 2 minutes ago. 2 minutes in the third. They got about a 6-point lead. We played with them for a little while, and they bumped it up to about 15. But it was a good game overall.
So 1-3. Junior high girls basketball is 5-1 for the A team and 4-0 for the B team. Junior high boys is 2-4 for the season. Powerlifting's fixing to kick off. They have a meet this Saturday. Then we'll be hosting February 1st and 15th. Golf is getting ready to kick off. And athletics has started a 2-word curriculum, which is kind of a character program, and that's going pretty well, from what I understand, with working with the kids. So that's kind of the update to the moment. We're getting ready to kick spring off, and it's going to get really fast and furious here in the next 4 weeks.
Item 10, order the school board elections for May 4th, 2024.
Mr. President, we have 2 regular positions coming up. Position 6, currently held by David Gibson. Position 7, Ryan Lamb. And then the unexpired term for position 2, which is Aaron Brower's position. So we do need to call it this month for the terms that are up. Keep us from having to do a special call board meeting before February, because that next one is, we have to do it, well, we'd already have that expires before our next board meeting, so just taking care of those terms there. The second page, it does show where our early voting locations are, because that is a difference from last year when I pointed that out. Early voting is at the Bowie County Courthouse, the Southwest Center, and the Walnut Church of Christ in Texarkana. But as far as the election day, that is still planned to be held at the Church of Christ here in Maud for the general election, for the election.
Thank you. Is there any action we have to?
Yes, sir, we do need to call the board elections for 6, 7, then an unexpired term 2.
Do we have a motion to call a board election for position 6 and 7 full terms and unexpired term for position 2 for May 4th, 2024?
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Terry, do we have a second? Second by Rusty, all in favor, raise your right hand. Yes. Consider,
Figured Aaron may have let off on that one.
Well, I thought about it, but I didn't want to be that guy.
consider and possible approval of custodial services contract for Mott Elementary School.
Board, we've had 2 custodians resign past couple of months that worked at our elementary school, both for better jobs. And so I can't fault the person for doing that. One of the things I wanted to do was look and see if there was a possibility of outsourcing that for the purpose of doing a deeper clean every night with our elementary campus. And so it's almost impossible to clean the school during the daytime. The short period that it is clean, the next period it's dirty again. And so we did go out and looked at some groups. One was out of Longview, and one was out of the Douglasville area. The contract that I'm recommending to the board tonight is for Redbird Custodial Services. They do the service center, and they do a phenomenal job there keeping that one clean. I do believe it can, one, improve the cleanliness of our building, and also just increase the detail in the rooms that we can do there as well. It does also come with, a person that's experienced in that, training in that piece there as well, and able to work with that. So I think it can help us also get a little broader spectrum for trying to pull in staff to work that building as well. And so that is the reason for doing that piece right there. So I do think it can help our custodial for the elementary campus. I will still have one custodian that'll go through there during the day just to keep the bathrooms up. If we have kid vomit or something like that, they can take care of the pieces there. But the deep clean will come after hours. We'll do the full background vetting, just like we do for any of our teachers or custodians that are on staff now. But the contract will start for them coming in from 2 o'clock to, 9:30, 10 o'clock at night, and to make sure that building gets completely cleaned. So that is something that it's different than we've done since I've been here, but that is something I think that can help us tremendously. As far as the difference in the expenditures that we would have from what we have currently budgeted in staff to Redbird, it is more expensive when you go out. It's about a $10,000 difference from what we budgeted for staff for the 2 people that were in that building.
How often do they come?
They come every day.
This is gonna be for the remainder of the school year?
For the remainder of the school year, yes, sir, and then we'll step back and evaluate it again. The total cost for them, tried to make sure I had my notes ready, Terry. For that period of time,
That was, 64 or something a month?
yeah, and so I think it comes up to about 36 and change, for the total piece, which is another reason for bringing it to the board, because the aggregate of that exceeds the $25,000.
You got it in the contract, what they're detailing, what they're gonna be doing, exactly what they're gonna be doing?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Because I know that was an issue prior to when we went out, when I came up on the board, it was contracted out, and that was the issue, wasn't enough detail in the contract, and we couldn't get them to do certain things. That's why it all came back in-house,
Yes, sir.
so we had more control of it, so.
And it's the issue's been getting qualified, or people that are willing to work too, you know what I'm saying? that's been a difficult piece that we've had, finding people that actually want to do that job. And so,
Aaron's retired.
but I do think it can make a substantial difference for Ms. Howard, her campus.
No more about it by the end of school.
Yes, sir. Oh, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Do it this way, we get to really test the waters with them and see how they do. We've talked about the details, what do we expect to see each week. Each day we want to see this level done to the floors, this level done for the dusting, the wipe down in the general areas, and just keeping it.
It's better than we did, our weed rules.
Any other questions or discussion?
So it's gonna be how much difference?
From what we budgeted, it'd be about $10,000.
About $10,000 for the rest of this school year?
For the rest of the school year.
Okay. All right, so we'll make sure I was.
Any other questions or discussion?
Well, I would, if Tommy was there, would ask him if we could afford it.
We checked
afford
it.
Okay.
We checked. Tommy signed off. Yes, sir. We've been running numbers for some time.
I've been waiting on a meeting long to ask you that.
Any other questions or discussion? So your recommendation to the board is that we approve
Approve
this?
the contract, the custodial contract for Redbird.
Do we have a motion to approve the contract of Redbird for the custodial services for the Mott Elementary School for the remainder of the school year?
I'll make it motion.
Motion by Terry, do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Rusty, all in favor, raise your right hand. It's unanimous. Consider and approve expenditure to Synergy Technology for installing fiber optic upgrades at the Mott ISD campus.
This is upgrading our backbones of our district technology. I asked Mark to stay tonight, he speaks that language a lot better than I do. But this is basically, Mark, why don't you say, it's the guts of our system.
Yeah, the fiber that's in the ground now between the buildings is put in 91. And it's at its max. We can't go any higher on our speed on our internet or anywhere. This will replace all the fibers in between the buildings and get it where we can not only we're gonna go to 10 gig with this project on our backbone, but you can go way higher after that. And if so, with the category 2 E-rate funding, they pay in 80%. We happen to pay our 20%, and then there's some items that E-rate will not cover. That's why it's at that $30,000 mark.
How many years do you think that we'll get out of this?
Hopefully,
We got to 91, so.
Hopefully, another, how many years is that, 40 years? Hopefully how many more. Because the only thing we have to do from here on out is do switches. Update your switches, and the modules we put in our switches now, our switches we got now can't handle it. But the next upgrade, if you go to 40 gig, we won't have to. The E-rate will come out with another set of category 2, I think in 2024, 25, maybe 25, I think. They put money out again. Hopefully we can update our switches by then, then we can move up more.
I'm not gonna be able to see the end of that, you're going to.
Yeah.
Follow up on that, get back with me, how long that lasted.
All right.
Because I won't be here, from.
Anybody have any questions for Mark? Thank you for coming and presenting to us tonight.
Is this company, I gotta go back one question. This company that we're using, is that the company you dealing with before, right?
Yes,
I see
it's
we have
Synergy
our-
Technology, but the company that actually does the fiber work is Nance out of Texas County.
Okay.
They're partners with Synergy. Nance will be the ones doing most of the work on that. The switch part, me and the tech guy from Synergy will be finishing up the switch configurations.
Okay, all right.
Any other questions? Thank you, sir. Do we have a motion to approve the expenditure to Synergy Technology for installing fiber optic upgrades at Mott ISD campus?
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Gap, do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Second by Aaron. All in favor, raise your right hand. Unanimous. Consider and approve policy update 122 local, discuss legal policy.
Okay, board, we're just coming out of the 88th session of the legislature. We do have our latest policy legal policies, and we don't adopt legal, but the language changes that have come out of that is based upon, Senate bills, House bills. The pieces that, I am bringing to you tonight to adopt is the local updates. And that's cybersecurity, employment of bus drivers, dyslexia, accelerated instruction, career investigation days, opioid antagonist, threat assessment, student records, and safety and security. Of those in there, MAUD was really ahead on most of those from prior updates. You'd already adopted the opioid antagonist pieces. You'd already adopted cybersecurity things. The only real change to this was changing our career investigation days from the old to extended to 2 days. 2 days for juniors and 2 days for seniors. And so meeting with our secondary people, they did make that recommendation that we continue with that. It gives more opportunities for our kids to go out, get those experiences prior to graduating. It gives them a little more feel. So it is my recommendation that we adopt 122 local with this.
Any questions?
Set from TASB.
Any questions or discussion? Do I have a motion to approve the policy update 122 local? Motion by Terry, we have a second. Second by Rusty, all in favor? Unanimous, thank you. Superintendent's report.
Just a few things quickly. We're continuing to meet with Ideal Construction and with our architects. I talked with both this week. We had a lengthy meeting on January the 4th.
Did you call them or they call you?
I called them. I called one and the other one called me. And so, but we did have a lengthy meeting on the 4th. Right an hour phone conference looking at recommendations on, work on our project. As Hunter met with us last time, his whole piece was getting into the value engineering and making sure we get that done on the front side before we go out for bid the project. That's been a piece that's continuing. So he and Mike, they've sent a considerable amount of documents back to architects for revisions. Those have been looking at, they're with their engineers right now, and so getting ready to come back with additional recommendations back to the contractor for subs and looking at how to put together. The bottom line on that meeting out of the 4th, there wasn't much change from what I saw on the original sheet when they talked with you earlier. And so there hadn't at that point not been a whole lot of dialogue back and forth as far as the drawings. And so, but that is a piece that I think has got to continue to work. We're going to meet back next week, midweek. They'll have their initial meeting on Monday, and then I'll ask for a follow-up meeting on Wednesday with them so that we can see where we are, look at our drawings, because I do feel like we've got to do some scale back on some project pieces with it just to get us into budget. We did talk about the driveway project, looking at the what pieces are we going to, how do we want the curbing look, those pieces there, the ground configurations and everything. So they're waiting on the final pieces from the engineers on the recommendations for digging out and refilling in to make the road. Continuing to work with the title company on the land piece behind the school as well. So I do hope to have something for you on the next board meeting as far as the status of the land back there. We're getting ready to finish that one up, I do believe that. And so running down all the errors has been a lengthy process. And so, but anyway, do plan to have both parties back out for the February board meeting to have a full report to the board on where they are as far as drawings, recommendations at that point. The intent from February is to go out, put together a package for you to approve in the March board meeting. So hopefully with that piece there, we start looking at turning some ground, I would say late April, early May, depending on kind of the outcome of those pieces there. So,
I guess they probably not going to want to do anything until summer hits.
sir?
I probably won't want to start breaking ground until summer hits. The kids are out of the way.
Yeah, so, I do expect to start seeing some things that'll show you that there's progress being made there, physical pieces for the community as well. So we're still working to try to bring the whole piece together visiting with Hunter again, he said, I do feel like we can knock a substantial piece out of this to get it in budget and bring it back to the board for a recommendation. Okay, any questions on that one?
I think we'll have some pretty good pricing ideas by February.
I think
They're
that's
slowing down a little bit. I said the economy is slowing down just a little bit. Where it's at 3 months and time to tell. Don't take about 2 months worth of homes not coming in as normal. They'll start getting panicky and they'll start taking up jobs and numbers. Just can live with it. You can just be patient. That's just what it's going to be.
I know that, like on the cafeteria, we're looking at 2 different versions of completion of it. We're waiting to hear back on some of the concrete work right now. Just the way looking at another way of building the same structure that could possibly be substantially cheaper than the first pass of it. And so, really we'll know, I think, in the next few weeks. I do expect quite a bit of information in the February board meeting.
Good, thank you.
Okay. Just so you know, Midwinter is January 28th to 31. I am signed up to go to that. Be out of the office, but be accessible the whole time as well. Greg Cooley did give us another $1,000 check to be split between the elementary and secondary libraries. And so I think Ms. Holly said that's been an ongoing thing through the years. And we continue to support MAUD years after being here. I don't think anyone needs it, but just in case you do, there's some board orientation training, orientation to Texas Education Code, 123 at Region 8, so just FYI. And then this is a piece that I'll bring back to you next month, meeting with Ms. Debbie Johnson. We need to do our summer feeding program, the intent for that piece. I had a misunderstanding from her. It was my fault for this too. I had it in my mind to bring it to you in February. She does have to put a report out, at least notify agriculture of where we're going. It's my intent to bring the recommendation to you to not do the summer feeding program. For the number of kids that we have that actually partake in it, the district just can't break even on it. And so, our kids can still go to New Boston and partake in that piece area if they choose to. But I think for MAUD and just being as economically prudent as possible, it makes more sense for us to pass that on to New Boston for our kids that would go to that. Generally, Debbie says we don't get very much participation in UWA. So I will come back to you next month for a recommendation and board approval at that time. But just wanted you to know that that's a piece that she's got to put out. And my timeline in my head was off, and so I apologize for that piece right there.
We've done that the last few summers, haven't we?
I think we've
done it ever since we started having summer school. Every year before that, we got a waiver.
Yeah.
Well, the Methodist Church did it for several years.
What kind of participation do we get on it?
0. Except for the kids that's coming to summer school. Days that the kids are not here are 0.
The intent is good, you know what I'm saying, but as far as bringing it to fruition, it's almost impossible.
Kids are using it.
Yeah.
Till the kids that do come to summer school, we have them, or is this just?
The elementary typically,
Yeah.
the ones that are there, secondary typically don't. And so, again,
I think she told me she averaged 32 kids, something like that, last year, when the kids were coming to the days that they had summer school.
Yes, sir.
But the days that didn't have summer school, 0.
Nobody showed up. Yes, sir. And then just a update, Tommy reported to you last month about our SHARS payment and settle up. It looks like we're going to be about a $12,000 dean. That won't necessarily be a pay that we'll pay back. It would be taken out of our next set of payment coming from SHARS. And as of right now, it looks like, as far as our allocation of the state's mistake, it's about $53,000. But we have appealed that, and there are several districts across the state appealing it as well. It's a long shot, but we may survive that, and not have to pay that whole bit. But right now, that's what it looks like as far as the damages. Probably about 65,000 total offset from what we were projected with. Again, most of that comes from the state and the feds having fall out with each other.
Texas and the Fed is not getting along.
No, never have.
No, sir, not at all.
They're worse now, maybe than before.
I believe that is all in the superintendent's report.
We'll be going into executive session at 7:30 PM for discussing personnel according to Texas Government Code Section 551.074. We'll conduct annual superintendent evaluation under the same Texas Government Code. We'll discuss, consider employment contract of the superintendent, same code. Resignation, retirement from employees, that same code, and discussion of personnel, same Texas Government Code. We'll take about a 5-minute break and we'll reconvene in executive. Well, we're coming out of executive session at 8:49 PM. Next item on the agenda is consider and take action on employment contract of the superintendent. Do we have a motion to extend the current contract by 1 year to maintain a 3-year contract?
I'll make a motion.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll say.
Second. All in favor, raise your right hand. Congratulations, Dr. Stevens.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, board.
And the next item is consider and take action accepting resignation retirements. I believe we have a resignation letter from Ms. Tammy Dickens. Do we have a motion to accept that resignation?
I'll make the motion to accept the resignation.
Have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second. All in favor, raise your right hand. Unanimous. Next item is adjourned. Do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Motion by Aaron. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Rusty. All in favor?
You tried.
Y'all get a few more times.
I got it out before